Hello, everyone. Justin Victor here, one of your life leaders, and I would like to bring up some topics with you for this amazing week that we've had with our launch and follow up on the fantastic discussion Dr. Eric came out with when this new community was introduced to everyone. So I think the most relevant topics I'd like to address come to trust, allowing, and curiosity. I think all of those are at the forefront of many minds that are becoming aware of the community that just came out, or maybe even just any part of this practice in general, from the books to the portal and all of the other wonderful programs that the Reconnection offers. From my experience, I'd like to say that I come from a place of control and vulnerability. I like to have a firm grasp on everything. And I know that's kind of a universal trait with a lot of people because not being in control and living in ambiguity are some things that people just struggle with. For me, I went down a horrible path of self-destruction when it came to control, but that's for another day because I can go on that topic for hours. And then there's also the area of vulnerability where I found it exceptionally difficult to open up to anyone, friends, coworkers, and even this new community. I was a little bit reluctant, and even like with family, friends, and psychologists that I've seen, I always struggled so much to get into some sort of a new mindset and work on parts of myself that I'd neglected for so long. But when I found the reconnection after a hiatus, when I was exposed to it in 2009, my curiosity overwhelmed me and I allowed myself to be drawn to it and cautiously stepped into this new realm of energy healing that I hadn't been so heavily involved with before. And what I'd like to say the most of when it comes to this practice is that it was one of the best decisions of my life. As someone on the inside now, one of your life leaders, I'd like to say that every single one of my fellow life leaders, along with all the support staff, especially Dr. Eric and Jillian, there's been so much passion, joy, love, light, and energy whenever I interact with any of these people, which has made me all the more grateful that I had pursued my curiosity, allowed my journey to manifest in a way that was organic and not forced, and I just kind of went with it. So that did come with a little bit of trust on my part and opening up to these people that I never knew, exposing my vulnerability and letting go to a certain degree of control was exceptionally difficult. But when I became more in tune with their frequencies, allowed things to happen on their own, and just realized that I was in a safe place with this community, everything sort of unfolded in a way that felt natural and safe to me. And I knew I could continue on, and this is something I needed to do. So what I suggest you all do is maybe contemplate the curiosity you might be feeling. Don't necessarily allow it to pull you in a certain direction, but acknowledge that it's there and realize that there might be some validity to it. And for me, I think curiosity is an amazing thing, and it manifests itself the most. This is how I explain it: when your mind and soul start to have a conversation with each other, because your conscious mind is aware of everything around you, but it exists on, I think, kind of a different level than the soul does, maybe even a different plane. And so when those two interact, there's curiosity. That's what's born. You naturally want to know more about what you don't consciously think about or sense on an everyday basis, especially if you're not tuned into the frequencies or have never experienced this practice to a great extent. So that's the most I can offer, is just acknowledge your curiosity, allow it to unfold, and just see where it takes you on this great journey. And that's one of the fantastic things about reconnective healing that I've cherished so much, is that there is no control, and I can just allow it to take me where I need to go. And I feel comfortable doing so because I know that it's a safe place, and there is so much love and joy that's universally abundant and will always come to me when I allow it to. So I'd like to thank Dr. Eric for the great introduction he had this week. It certainly got me energized, and I hope it did the same for you. And I'd also like to do one more thing, and it's to delve into a bit of a meditation for you. So just to understand this, I have never created a meditation before. I've done them, and I thoroughly enjoy the energy interactions that Dr. Eric and Jillian put out for us. It's just a fantastic way to really engage the subconscious mind and play with their frequencies in a fantastic synchronicity, and really just get a feeling for the kind of energy that you'll feel when engaged in this practice. And with this meditation, it came to me organically. And I think this is very important because everything that I have said, written down, or contemplated has always been out of a place of allowing. It could have been during a mundane task, or maybe I was just sitting in quiet thought, but I never forced anything. I would just allow thoughts to come to me and knew that there would be something there. Since I started this practice, I've had an increased awareness of these energies and the thoughts that are all over the place, and I've come to realize that it's best to just allow them to come to you and just be open and curious about what's there. And that's also something I wanted to explain because I felt like it was perfectly in alignment with what I wanted to talk about for my post this week. So I'm going to go through this brief meditation and just allow whatever emotions, thoughts, or expectations to float over you. The best way I can visualize the mind when meditating is the mind is kind of like the earth, and the atmosphere is where you have like your conscious thoughts, and above that, when you go to space and beyond, that's your potential that you may or may not be aware of, but it's there. And all of those thoughts that you have on a day-to-day basis, whether they're conscious or subconscious, are the clouds that are floating overhead. And I find this a really great metaphor because when I talk to people about meditation, people find it really hard to clear their minds. I mean, you tell them not to think about something, and that's what their mind goes to. So what I suggest, and it's something that I do, is to simply acknowledge those thoughts, let them float over your head like clouds, and float away. There's going to be more, and until you get a firm grasp on meditation, and maybe you'll never get to this point, but for me, I don't have a problem clearing my mind, but I don't think that's an issue because as long as you acknowledge and realize that those thoughts are there, just let them go by and realize that this is a part of you. It's your mind, and these thoughts are always going to be there. So just acknowledge them and let them flow by. And just try not to be too hard on yourself when it comes to meditating because it's something that can be difficult for a lot of people, especially because so many of our days are filled with just a ton of activities, things to do, work, obligations, family, and friends. And all of those are so important to us, but we need to learn to take a step back sometimes into our mind and soul and allow things to come to us. So I'm going to go into meditation now. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes and I'll guide you through what came to me. Imagine you were in a densely populated city. There's a busy street in front of your home, neighbors on each side of you, and you can't go more than 10 seconds away from your home without hearing the roar of traffic, children playing nearby, or any other activity indicating the presence of people around you. Behind your home, it opens up into a large field. It's a green space full of benches, parks, small trees and shrubs, and families playing, interacting, and enjoying the day. This is where people tend to remain. But in the center is a forest. It's densely packed, and you never see anyone enter or leave it, and no one talks about it. You haven't brought it up with family, friends, or coworkers because it tends to be an unspoken thing, and you just know that it's there. One day, you decide to approach this forest. There's always been a drawing to it, a curiosity that has been left unacknowledged, and a contentment unsatisfied. You yearn to know more what lies within. It's foreboding and intimidating from the outside, but there's a familiarity that you can't exactly place within your life. You scour the outside of the forest, searching for an entrance. You've never seen anyone go in or out, so you don't know what to expect, but you're determined to open, allow, and learn more about this mysterious feature that somehow everyone on a daily basis refuses to acknowledge or interact with. Eventually, you come to a faint yet unusually well-trodden path to the interior. This is somewhat mystifying to you, as you are unaware of anyone ever going in there or leaving it, yet this is a clear indication that people have been exposed to it. You decide to enter, and there's a faint light from above through the foliage to slightly illuminate the path in front of you. It's dark, cool, and shaded from the sun, and tends to muffle all of the sound from the outside. No one notices, intercepts, or prompts you as to why you've entered the forest, so you continue inwards. Eventually, the light from the entrance is gone. You still have the light from above illuminating your way, but in the distance ahead, you see a faint light. And you continue to approach, still drawn to what you know not, but feel some mysterious comfort in. When you approach the clearing at the end of the path, it opens into light. You also see a lush green area with birds flying about, squirrels scuttering through the trees, and vast patches of flowers and shrubs with fantastic aromas and tantalizing colors. You feel slightly exposed and uncertain about stepping into the clearing. This is as far away as you've ever been from your home, yet it holds the same sort of comfort and an interesting drawing that you cannot assign any other place that you've been to with. As you proceed in towards the clearing, you see further in, there's a deer. This puts you in awe, as you've heard of them, and you've seen them in pictures, magazines, online, on TV, but they never come out into the clearing behind your homes and around the forest. So you're awestruck and completely in love with what you see. It's been staring at you this whole time. It's always known you've been there. Yet, until you allowed yourself to enter this forest, you had no idea it existed. It's about 30 feet away. It's staring at you and seems to be exhibiting a similar curiosity and fascination that you have. You stand, your feet won't let you move, but you really want to approach. Unsure the proper protocol or how to proceed with this experience, you decide to stay put, neither retreating nor advancing, but allowing everything to unfold as it should. The deer starts to walk towards you, 20 feet. You can start to see the patterns on its fur, the irregularities, textures, and even some of the faint scents that, like the clearing, are foreign, but simultaneously familiar to you. Walks forward a bit more, 10 feet. You can hear it breathe, and almost sense its life force, as if it projects a field that you are now a part of, and you become entranced and all the more fixed in place as you allow the experience to unfold for you. It continues to walk towards you. It's now 5 feet away. You can feel its breath, and you almost feel like you are part of this life force. It's only a few feet away, but continues to approach, and you feel the urge to rise your arm to touch it. This is intimidating for you, and you don't know what to expect. But your body prompts you, and you are so close to touching it. It's within inches, and then the scene goes dark. It's another area of unfamiliarity. You're nervous, a little bit scared, and apprehensive as to what just occurred. But the same sense of curiosity, familiarity, and awe are still there. And you feel a sense of comfort, contentment, and awe wash over you. Take this in and experience it within your own force. You can open your eyes now. I find nature one of the best ways to explain how to approach reconnective healing. As I've already mentioned, there's no control or manipulation in it. You just have to make yourself available and allow things to unfold for you. As much as we like to think, or have seen on many movies, it's very unlikely that you'll be able to approach a wild animal and prompt it to do the same. So embrace your curiosity, allow things to unfold for you, and see what manifests. This will ensure that you can do it in a comfortable manner and also in a unique way that will be both organic and fulfilling. I hope you enjoyed this meditation, and I look forward to interacting with all of you in the future. Please let me know what you thought of this meditation, as well as your experiences and thoughts. Welcome to the Reconnective Life community online. Welcome home.